समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.
Hello and welcome to ThePrint. I'm Snehesh Alex Philip and you're watching the Defense Scope. Now, last week I did a video explaining 3 critical programs that India is pursuing. One, of course, is the AMCA, that is the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft. The other being the Project 76, under which India is supposed to indigenously build at least six conventional submarines. And the third project is the mega jet engine project, the Kaveri project that has been pending for decades. For the jet engine, primarily there are two competitors. One, of course, Safran from France, and then the Rolls-Royce from the UK. And I have with me Sashi Mukundan, who is the Executive Vice President of the Rolls-Royce in India, to help us understand what exactly is the company offering to India when it comes to the development of a brand new engine that will power the phase 2 of AMCA. So welcome to ThePrint.
Thank you. Thank you, Snehesh.
Uh, so what is the status of the project? People have been reporting on it for decades now, and over the last several years, it has gathered momentum. But if you could just explain to our viewers, where does the project currently stand?
So if you think about it, they've moved forward with the airframe. They've shortlisted 3 companies. Those companies have been given the RFP to move forward. The next step, obviously, is the engine for that aircraft. And what we have done is, we've made our pitch to the government, and over a period, we've kind of refined our pitch. And now we've given our last comprehensive offer, which basically says that rather than just focusing on one engine, we're saying we'll use that engine as the heart of it, but we want to actually build a sovereign Indian aero gas turbine complex in India.
Okay.
With an Indian partner. The whole idea is this would become part of Make in India. And why are we saying that is because, we're going to be building capability. We need capability for designing. We'll have capability for developing the project. Then we'll have capability in terms of production, and then long-term market care. And then once you have that complex in place, that complex then can play a much important part in terms of India further developing down the road, other variations of it, or even the next generations of engines. And the same complex can be used both for military as well as civil application. So the whole idea is that we want to help India create a sovereign capability to build engines rather than saying, okay, now I'm going to do this for the 5th generation. Now I'm going to then think again for the next one. What do I do? Who do I go to? Here you would have an Indian capability. It'll be with an Indian partner, and it'll be majority Indian partner because it's Make in India.
Yeah.
And so that's what we are.
So when you say that you will help set up a complex, what does that entail? Because as far as right now, the project entails developing an engine,
Correct.
a new engine for the AMCA program, right? So when you say complex, what do you mean by that?
So essentially, if you step back, what has Rolls-Royce said? Rolls-Royce said we want to be a strategic partner to India. What do I mean by that? Essentially, what we have said is we want to do everything that we do in our home markets. Home market is like a hub, right? So we've got UK, we've got USA,
US.
and we've got Germany. We are saying we want to create the 4th one in India, which means we will do everything in terms of propulsion, whether it's propulsion for airlines, whether it's propulsion for military, whether it is propulsion for Navy, Coast Guard, as well as Army, right? So we want to do all of that in India. We also want to set up engineering capability in India. We want to source more from India. So when I talk about a complex, the complex will start with a design center where you could have as much as 1,000 engineers, highly skilled engineers working on developing the next gen engine, right? So this development will happen in India. It's not you're bringing something which has been done elsewhere and you're bringing it to India. You'll bring technology from there. You will bring the background IP from outside, but then rest of it will be done over here. And the idea is that we will have the design done here, then we will develop it, prototype it, and then we will set up a manufacturing facility, and then we'll have a MRO. Plus, we will be looking at life extension, right? Aftercare beyond that.
Yeah.
So it'll be everything in one place, in one complex. And when it's a complex, it'll also have, we will help build the whole supply chain ecosystem. Because if you're going to do make in India, it has to be produced here.
Absolutely.
So, we will set up the ecosystem. So we won't do all of it. We will have Indian companies which will work with us to set up the ecosystem.
See, but if I speak to, let's say, I'm not naming the companies here, but if I speak to the X and the Y,
Yeah.
who are also in the same field, they would also say the same thing, almost the same thing. So why should India consider you? And when I say you, I mean Rolls-Royce.
So what I would say is that if you think about it, if we set up this complex, what we're saying is, one, we will have an Indian partner. That Indian partner will be majority owned. Okay.
Have you already identified a partner?
We are working. We've shortlisted a few,
Okay.
and we are working through it. But we're not yet ready to say who that is, or how we go about it.
But would it be a DPSU or would it be a private player?
It could either way.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to preempt and say what
Okay.
it is. But the idea would be, it would be a serious player in India, who will help us, build this capability in India. So engineering is done here. We will actually prototype it here. Then we will set up the manufacturing facility. Some of the stuff will be manufactured inside. A lot of it will be assembled. So what we will do is we will also go out and start building a supply chain ecosystem. And the reason we feel comfortable, we are already doing that in India, right? We've got a subsidiary called AMCA, International Aerospace Manufacturing Private Limited. It's a 50-50 JV with Hindustan Aeronautics. That particular facility manufactures today 200 high precision parts for our global operations, for our civil and other operations around the globe, right? Similarly, we have vendors in India who are actually supplying parts for us.
Okay.
So what we will do is, we will build the ecosystem, and the way I would talk about building the ecosystem is, there will be three parts to it. One is, there are existing suppliers whom I can lift and shift into it. Second is, there are suppliers who are there, but they probably need to be further nurtured and further, worked, so that they can get to the same kind of capability and quality that we are looking for. And the third would be completely new area where we will need to build the capability in India. And that we can either do it with our partner, or we might get somebody else to come and do that for us. So we will do this. What we have said is, we will do 100% technology transfer. So transfer technology is 100%. And we have the 100% unwavering backing from the UK government for doing that. On the IP side, the key is, as we develop the project in India, there will be IP being developed that stays in India. It stays with the government. We will be working with GTRE. So GTRE, us and the Indian partner will work this through. And what happens is, in order to do that IP, we will need the background IP, because there's 80 years of history that we have. We will bring that into the design center. So the design center will have the capability of working off of that. So that's how we will make sure that it gets done in India.
Okay.
Okay. And what we have said is that we will do it in a manner where Indian government is comfortable, UK government is comfortable, and Rolls-Royce is comfortable.
Okay. Coming specifically to the offer, you said that in the past you've given multiple offers and it has been fine-tuned, and now you've given the final offer.
So it's not multiple offers. We have kind of, what has happened is, as also the requirements from the government changes, right? Because
are you saying the requirement keeps changing?
No, because it gets improved, right, over time frame. This thing started in 2013, so it's a lot of time has gone.
Yeah.
And so over the time period, we are also learning. They are also learning. So we are making it more improved and trying to make it the latest and the most state of the art.
So what is the kind of engine that is being looked at? What's the power output,
Yeah.
or what is the engine and do you currently have an engine, or do you make an engine which is similar to what India is asking, or how is it?
So this is supposed to be a 120 plus kilonewton engine with the ability to go further up.
So with the ability to go further up. Okay.
Because you know that this, as you start moving up and as you start putting it into the aircraft, the requirements change. So don't forget, this is not, when you have an engine in an aircraft now, the newer versions, right,
Yeah.
5th and 6th generation, it's not only just brute force thrust.
Yeah.
It is also used for powering the electronics. So there is a component of this which goes towards making electricity
Yeah.
to run everything in there.
Okay.
So you may, your thrust might be 120, but you may need more for some of the other stuff. So it's designed so that it can go better than 120.
Oh, it's designed. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
what is
120
good.
plus. That's what we call it, 120 plus.
120
kilonewton.
plus. Okay. So currently, do you have an engine which does that?
We have many. So if you look at the history, in the last 30 years, we have actually designed, prototyped, and actually certified 20 engines.
Okay.
So that's roughly one every 18 months, right? We do.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, it's military plus,
Civil.
civil plus business jets,
Yeah.
across the face. In a typical year, we manufacture 500 civil engines and we manufacture 500 military engines.
Okay.
And we have
that's 1,000
engines. So we have engines of various kinds
Sure.
that we do. So
And this also includes your shipping and all.
no. This is airline. This is just for the air,
okay.
for the jet engines.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I would say is that we are not, there's no question, can we make an engine? We feel pretty comfortable that we can make an engine to the specs that they need. We have done it. The Eurofighter has it. We are now working the GCAP.
Yeah.
Right. That's another one, which is the next
Yeah,
sixth generation.
I'll come to that
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
And we also, with General Electric, with GE, we had developed an engine for the F-35, and the F-35 vertical lift engines are ours. So there's quite a lot of history that we have, right, that we have worked on. So it's not an issue.
It's not an issue. So since you mentioned that you're also the engine manufacturer as far as the GCAP program is concerned, right? That's
Yeah.
the 6th generation program which is in the works. I hope it doesn't end up the way that the FCAS has ended up. But what would be the difference between that engine and the engine that India is asking? Because that's a 6th generation, there's a 5th generation. And not just for my viewers, even I wanted to understand that what would be the difference between the two?
So Snehesh, let me start by saying I'm not an expert in this, right?
Perfect. You're not
Yeah.
a tech expert.
Yeah, I'm not a tech expert.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is there's a huge difference between 5th generation and 6th generation. 5th is still a lot of power
Yeah.
for the engine.
Yeah.
6th, my understanding is a lot of it is to do with electronics and
Yeah.
electronic warfare. So quite a lot of the engine power, if I'm not mistaken, goes towards the electronics and the powering. It's more electricity.
Understood.
Then and those aircrafts will be used in a very different way than what we are used to use.
Yeah, what AMCA would be used. But see, in terms of your offer, there's also a timetable that you've given to the government as far as manufacturing of these engines in India is concerned. If you could elaborate on what that timetable is.
So what we have said is we will have an engine ready to be tested on an aircraft flying by 2034.
2034. That is from the if the contract is signed today.
If it's signed by the end of this year.
If it's signed by the end of
go by
2026, you're saying you will have an engine by 2034 to carry out the first test flight.
Correct. And what you got to keep in mind is that we have already been working with GTRE for a while. So there is some work that's going on, which then we can take and then move forward with it. So the whole idea would be that we would have a core that we will test in 2030.
A core in
the
2030.
Core, yeah, the
Okay.
hot section will
So
be
you're
tested,
saying the core would be
ready
full
by
of-
2030.
and it would be a new design completely, everything made in India.
Correct.
It's not going to be imported in from the UK or from
We're
the
designing
US.
it here.
Designing it
And
here.
what we're doing is, while we're designing it, we're also starting to manufacture some of the parts for it in India
Okay.
as a test. Okay, so there are 9 critical parts which we are now working with people. 2 of them are already built in India.
Oh,
There's another 5 which is actually work in progress, which should hopefully happen by, I would say, by the fourth quarter of this year. And then by the end of first quarter, we will have all 9 parts manufactured
for the core
for the core in India,
in
right, to
India.
test it.
Okay.
So we are already starting to think about the supply chain as we're doing this.
Okay.
Okay.
Is
Eh,
it because you are looking at bagging the Indian contract, or is it because you're thinking that even if the Indian contract doesn't work out, you can use this to develop a new engine altogether?
So what you got to keep in mind is, we've told you that we want to be a strategic partner. We said we want to make India the fourth, home market for
Yeah.
us. If you're going to do those things, we would have to manufacture in India. We will need supply chain in India. So we might as well start doing it now.
Okay.
So we're building it, and one of the things our CEO said when he was here last, he said, there's so much of talent, there's so much of capability in India. I want to see supply chain growing from India, and he said he wants to grow it, by $1 billion
Okay.
in the next 5 years. So if that's going to happen, then we'll need to build the capability in India, and we are already actually buying from a lot of people in India, and a lot of people are developing, precision parts for us in India. So it's just a matter of taking it to the next level.
Okay. So you said first flight, matlab engine
So I'll give you
ready for
the
first flight in 2034.
34. So I'll
Yeah.
give you the series, right? It's 2030 we will have the core ready
Okay.
and tested. 2032 we will test an engine on the ground.
Okay.
Okay, and 34 it'll be ready for first flight on the plane.
And that's the time when the first AMCA is supposed to enter into production.
Is
You
it?
know? Yeah, but
Okay.
that's the timeline, because we always remember that the AMCA project, the initial part of the AMCA project would be powered by the G414
That's right.
engine, and the G has entered an MOU with HAL. I think the final contract is yet to be signed on that, but probably by end of this fiscal it would be done. It comes with 80% TOT, that's what they claim, but I'm not really sure what exactly is the TOT there. And that's what I really wanted to understand. When you say that it would be TOT, right? Transfer of technology, and India would own the IP. So are you going to transfer the entire knowledge as far as making of an engine is concerned? Or do you think that whoever your partner is, let's say 2035 onwards, let's say G is not in the picture, right? Would the Indian partner be able to make an
I
engine?
think a Rolls-Royce with an Indian partner will be able to make.
Rolls-Royce with an Indian partner would be able to make. So you're saying all critical aspect of the engineering that has been left out in the deal with the G would be there in the Rolls-Royce.
So I don't know what's left out in theirs.
Yeah.
From our standpoint, we are saying that we will build the capability in India, and we'll be able to do not only just the AMCA engine. Our goal is to do more than that. We're already thinking about derivatives from it. We're thinking about using the same core for electric propulsion for ships. So that's another advantage, right? Because if I had to do a similar complex for the ship, it doesn't have the volume to make it happen. Because marine will require maybe 30, 40 engines. But if I already have a complex, and if I can do a derivative from it, which can be used for marine applications, then that works.
So is this engine that you're going to develop, is it part of the Kaveri project, or is this a different one?
Completely different.
Completely different. And has the Indian authorities sought your help on the Kaveri project as well?
I am not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think at some point our guys had looked at it, but I'm not sure. No, I don't think
Okay. So, while we're talking about aero engines, Rolls-Royce is also into the naval systems as well as the land systems.
Correct.
So what's happening on that front?
So we are looking to, on both of those, we're looking to indigenize engines that Rolls-Royce has. So there's a Series 4000 engine, which we are looking to Indianize for the Marine in India. There's a Series 199, which we are looking to bring to India and again Indianize it.
So what is the difference between these two engines when you say?
One is a diesel engine for the land, applications.
Okay.
Other one is a marine engine, which is a large one for the ships.
Okay.
So, for example, the two ships that, or the three ships that the Prime Minister just inaugurated
Yeah, commissioned
Yeah.
in the GRSC.
yesterday.
Yeah.
So, two of them has one has our engines. So it's got three of our diesel engines in it, and the other one has four of our power gensets in it.
Ah, okay.
And those power gensets are made in India. Okay, except for the engine, most of the parts are coming from India. So it's already make in India. It's already
So
meeting
it's
the
just
make in
been made
India
in partnership with who?
with GRSC.
With GRSC. And for the naval engines, the naval powers for naval engines,
Those
what
engines were engines imported.
engines
Those were
import?
imported.
No, but you said you want to make it
We
in
will
India.
we will make it in India. We've got an agreement with GRSC in place.
Okay.
So now it's about just operationalizing.
So is that licensed production, or is that a TOT which is happening there?
It's actually make in India.
It's actually make in India. So when you say make in India,
Parts of it will have to be made in India.
parts of it which
So it's
would be
not
made in
bring
India.
bring an engine and assemble. It's not just assembly. It'll be
Okay.
assembly plus system.
But the core will come from wherever it is
No, the
manufactured. globally.
intent is eventually to Indianize it. No
Okay.
reason why we can't Indianize it.
Okay. And
Same thing goes with the diesel engines for the army,
okay.
right? So there's one project where we're looking at bringing in the it's called MB838 engine, which is now on the Arjun tanks. So the idea is to bring that and manufacture that in India.
Bring that and manufacture that in India.
And then similarly the S1.
You have a tie-up for that? You already
We are in discussions, but nothing has been announced yet.
okay.
But we are very close
Okay.
on all of those.
And your engine was also tested on the light tank that has been developed by the DRDO and L&T. I think there was an issue with there was certain delay on the German side, right? So are you not focusing on the light tank scenario, because that's going to be a huge order that is going to come up?
I don't know the full details actually, but I would say everything is on the table, right? I mean, we will look at whatever it takes and whatever is interested. The whole idea is that we want to support India in the in this movement
Okay.
on national security.
So, my last question to you is that why should India consider you, Rolls-Royce? Why should why should why should India consider you?
Easy answer, right? So, firstly, there are only 3 genuine engine manufacturers in the world. 2 of them are in the US. Third is Rolls-Royce. Okay, number one.
Well, that's a clear dig at
Number one.
at
I'm not digging at
another-
anybody.
yeah.
I'm not digging at anybody, right?
Huh.
So, number 2,
Huh.
we are one of the few companies which is actually talking about becoming a strategic partner to India. Not only in the propulsion systems, but propulsion system across all the areas. We want to bring in engines. We are in discussions. We have been working in India. We've been designing in India engines. So for us, it's not something new. We're not starting from new. We've been in this country for 90 years. We're just celebrating this year the 70th year with HAL.
Okay.
Right? For 70 years, we've been working with HAL. 6 different engines have been licensed to HAL. They've built it, maintained it, and we have supported it. So for us, it's not a new thing. It's more of doing more of what we have done. It's just we haven't publicized what we have done. And now we're saying that, if you go back and look at the history, we have done quite a bit. And we have the strong support of the UK government for doing this because, as you know, the free trade agreement got signed. There's a defense pact that has been signed. And AMCA could be a core part of that, to building that relationship between India and UK.
My last question to you is based on the response that you gave. You said that in the world there are 3 genuine engine manufacturers. 2, he said, was in the US. Of course, you're referring to GE and Pratt and Whitney. Then you said the third one is there in Europe. So what makes the fourth one not a genuine engine manufacturer, if that's what you claim?
No, I'm not saying it's not a genuine. I'm saying if you look at somebody who
So what makes it a genuine?
So if you look at it, we manufacture military. And I told you how we actually design, prototype, certify one engine every 18 months, which is very different. There aren't that many people who do that.
Okay.
So that's where I'm coming from, right? I mean, if you look at it, and I'll give an example as Dassault just came out with the Falcon 10X.
Yeah. They had the first
Yeah.
flight. Yeah.
The Falcon 10X engine is a Rolls-Royce engine.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I would say.
Okay.
Okay.
And how hopeful are you for this contract? And by when do you think a decision would be taken? Because there's a lot of confusion about when, because at one time somebody had announced something else, and then things are again back to kind of a discussion stage.
I don't have full clarity, but I understand it will be. I'm hoping it'll be sometime in 26.
Hoping it's sometime in 26, and I really hope so that it is in 2026 that we, at least India, finally takes a decision on what will power India's future combat aircraft. But thanks a lot for
Thank you.
speaking to the
Yes,
print. A pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.